And so what this is putting a mirror up to yourself and saying, I own my career and I'm going to, yeah, a little bit like Triumph. Nice. Wow, Ron. Yeah. And so the three-part harmony, let's really dive into this. This is you owning your career. You own it. This is my career. You are the biggest part of this thing that in order for me to own my career, it is me taking and owning it. It's your leader being part of it and then making sure that you have, and I'm putting conference attendees, and this is like the workshop here attendees, making sure that you're working with your organization. Now, let's really lean into the three-part harmony. Owning your career. What is your role right up front? So I'm going to pose a question to you. Has anyone ever heard this before? The job outgrew the person. The job outgrew the person. Or stated another way, I had a friend who retired recently, and he said, I'm retiring, and if I had to apply for my position, I would not be qualified. Whose responsibility is it when we say the job outgrew the person, or if I had to apply for my job, I wouldn't be qualified? Whose responsibility is that? And then this is a really harsh statement, but whose responsibility is that?
Yours, because you should constantly be keeping up with the times and learning all the new things that are going on.
Thank you so much. And so it's Jay Burton?
Julie.
Thank you, Julie. Julie, you're 100% spot on. And that's what, yeah, Julie, and that is exactly it, that we always need to make sure that we are keeping up. And that's what we want to look at here, is that what does that look like? So in order for us to be able to grow and develop, it begins with us thinking, acting, and behaving like we are the CEO of our career, that we are going to own everything that we do. And it's not playing a victim. It's not saying, my boss doesn't give me the opportunities. No, it's us saying, I'm going to be very proactive. I'm going to be very strategic, and I'm going to own this. I'm going to own my professional growth. You know what? I can have other people help me, but I am going to own this. All right. That's something it's that mindset right up front. And so this is what I'd like you to do right now. Allie, can I have you put them into, how many people do we have here all together?
26.
Actually,
yeah.
Now it shows 29. I'm seeing 29.
Oh, perfect.
Excluding the
Okay,
zero.
can you is it possible to do 5 breakouts?
Yes, 5 breakout rooms are open. You can see it, but
Perfect.
if you can't, I can move you guys to a breakout room.
That'd be great. Can you put them in? And what we'd like you to do is have 3 minutes in your breakout. What can you do to own your career? So here the terminology, what's called upskilling or reskilling. That is that part of that continuous learning. What are the new certifications? Right. What's out there? And so, for instance, AI, it doesn't matter what your role is. Everybody needs to be able to have some sort of at least basic knowledge of AI. And here's the thing. Don't be afraid of it, because what happens if you're afraid of it? If you're afraid of things like AI, what's going to happen?
You get left behind.
Yeah, absolutely. You'll get left behind. The job will outgrow you. You know what? Show that genuine interest, show that curiosity, show your willingness to learn, whether it's an upskill or reskill, learning to refine something, but really learn more about it. It's just so huge. And so it's that continuous learning. Good. What were some other key things that you're talking about in your groups? I don't have the chat up. It didn't come up.
One of the things is to invest in your future, as you say, where the technology is going, to see what's new in the industry that you're in. How could you be better? Because the job market right now is very competitive with high skilled people. So you have to set yourself, what sets you apart?
Yep. What's going to set you apart? I love what you're saying. Thank you so much. Yeah. And looking at the new trends, looking what's out there with the new themes, the new trends, building your network, whether it's inside your organization, outside your organization. And so that was one of the things that in our group that Ron and Saba were talking about. that with mentoring, we should all be having 3 different types of mentorship. A, we should be having somebody mentor us. Either it is in the role that we want to go or somewhere we want to strive, whether it's having that mindset, whatever it may be. We should be having a mentor who's an elder to us or has that already that knowledge. We should be mentoring someone who is a peer, someone who is on the same level, same role, same job title, whatever it may be. That right up front, having your peer with you right there. Okay. Then we should also be mentoring someone who wants to get to our role or wants to be able to get to understand where we are. So it's the 3 that are going right up front. Someone's mentoring us. We're mentoring, who has that knowledge already. Mentoring somebody who is my peer, that we're working on this together. And then mentoring someone who I am elevating up. And here's the thing, is that don't be afraid of having somebody more intelligent, more bright, who can do something better than you. The high waters rise all ships. I can't say that enough. And it's making sure that you surround yourself with people who are bright, intelligent, articulate, because high waters rise all ships, and we get all of us moving forward. All right, so I love how they're saying that mentoring is such a key point there. Delegate and elevate, absolutely. So there's so many different things that you can do right up front. And this is where you get into that mindset. You are saying, I am going to do this. I am going to make this happen. Now, this is something I want to share with you. This is my story that I've been saying this forever. I've been working in organizations and I've been, coaching leaders and leading workshops. And I always say, you need to be the CEO of your career. Imagine if this was you own this organization. Would you make this decision? And then, I thought, I've been saying this. I need to make sure that I'm eating my own food that I'm cooking. And what I realize is I want to go out on my own and start my own organization. I keep saying this. And so I'm going out, and that's what I did is I opened up Cormier Executive Optimization, CEO, coaching and consulting, because I want to be the CEO of my career. And my whole life, I have been in the corporate world, and I have, embraced corporate America and really enjoyed it and learned so much. But then I've realized that, I've got this side of me with my heritage of the Native American side, the indigenous people side. And I thought, there's a very proud heritage that I have and a very proud knowledge base in so much in culture. And that I've realized this is who I am. And I think every one of us have this, that there is a very proud culture that we have. Allie and I were talking as we're getting ready to jump on this call. She's very proud of her Filipino culture and very proud of where she comes from in the Philippines and her section there in her area. And I really want you to think about this for a second. Think about what was the single decision or action that you made in your career that really has embodied your career path, got you to where you were today. What was the one biggest decision that you made? Okay. I want you to really think about that. Think of, because where you are right now, we've got Lori who's doing it exceptionally well in marketing. And she's saying, I want to dip my toes into project management and learn a little bit more about that. So what's the single, that's a great example. Thank you for sharing that right up front, Lori. What's one thing that you've done that really has significantly impacted your career? And I'd like you to put that in the chat. Just put a quick overview. What did you do that really helped you get to where you are today? And I know, David, Ralph, you are really thinking about a lot of things right now with your career. You're saying, I'm at a crossroads. Where do I want to go and which pathway do I want to take? And I want you to really lean into this and think about what is the single biggest decision that you made. And sorry, I didn't mean to put you on the spot, David.
No,
think
that's okay. I'm thinking about my decision that I'm going to put in the chat and seeing if it connects with where I'm at now, because it was a great decision then, and does it apply now? We'll see.
Love it. Yeah, Jordan, pursue excellence in my field to get noticed. Can you tell us a little bit more about that, please?
So for the current role that I have, I used to be a 1099, actually doing what I do, court reporting. And I wasn't the most outgoing. I wasn't really necessarily like working on the hard marketing side, yeah, I was great at what I did, but I wasn't really working on gathering clients. So I had kind of a barrier with my income. And then I ended up getting scouted or recruited to work full time at a different firm. And it kind of changed everything. So it opened actually a lot more opportunities for me. And like, I mentor a lot of people now, like peers, as you were saying, which a lot of reporters are asked to mentor once you get to a certain level so that, you know, everybody can kind of be on the same standard. Cause I get recommended a lot by our clients. So it ended up helping me financially in that way.
Oh, I love it. I love it. Thank you so much. And there's a lot there. A couple things that I'm hearing is, and this is what I'm seeing in the chat, getting out of your comfort zone. There's a fear. You know, the decision that we make, it's not going to be easy, whether it's financially, whether it is technologically, like David is saying, you know, AI, I'm learning about AI, whether it is, you know, getting a new certification, whether it's moving to a different place in the world, trying something completely different. It is getting out of our comfort zone and being able to invest and believe in yourself. And like Joanne is saying, invest in your future. You are the best investment that you can have. Okay. And making it happen. This is where we get into it and really visualize what is it I want to have? What does that look like? And you make it happen. And I think somebody in here put mindset. Who was the person who put mindset? Oh, so that was Wangi. Can I have you tell us more about that mindset?
Really, so for me, again, I think I said CI, I'm an agile coach as well. So continuous improvement, I think of that the same way for myself, which is that, again, you know, what am I doing today to be better than what I did yesterday? To your point, exactly. What are some of the areas? What are some of the things? So for me, I'm always looking for what's the next thing I can learn? How can I upskill? How can I better myself? Who do I know that's, you know, doing this, that, and the third that I'm interested connecting with them and say, hey, what are you doing? So for example, right now I have a colleague of mine, I'm an agile coach, but they were a scrum master that I mentor, and he's kind of the person that led me into this AI area of things. So right now I'm big into all of that, trying to figure out what's the next and biggest thing as far as, you know, AI is concerned in my field, but also just, you know, with other things as well, right? So continuous mindset, what can I, you know, what can I learn? What can I get certified in? What can I show other people, and so on and so forth. So that's what it is for me.
Oh, that is excellent. Thank you so much. That is great. And that's it. And Julie, I've never heard this. The cave you fear to enter holds the treasure you seek. I'm going to borrow that. I'm a huge fan of quotes. Tell us how you use that.
I heard that from Joanne. So I stole that from
She's
Joanne.
outstanding.
She actually, we said that to me, she shared that with me today. So I just thought that it was just perfect.
I'm gonna
So-
stop
Absolutely.
patterns.
What would you say, Joanne?
I make a joke out, so I'm gonna start creating patterns. Pattern.
Please do. That's great.
Patents.
And like
You
how
need to start patenting these phrases. Yeah. But yeah, so what, and it's so true. The thing that you fear the most is what's going to open up your world, whether it's anything, whether it's taking a new job position or whether it's moving to a new place. The fear of the unknown, all of a sudden you jump at it and you do it, and then your whole world just opens up.
Personal and professional. It really is a life skill. And that's the thing, is you are the CEO of not just your career, but you're the CEO of your entire life. And I like what Regina's saying here, reinventing ourselves. We can be so much more. So, and that's the thing. It's the depth and breadth of who we are. Think of everywhere we've come, and we can continue to grow and get into that mindset. Love what everybody is saying here. Yeah. And so here are some key things that you can do. Set a vision and goals. You know, have that vision. And anyone here have a vision board where they say, you know, whether it's I want to lose 5 pounds, or I want to bulk up and put on 20 pounds, whatever it may be, put that vision board out there. Develop your personal brand. What do I want people, when people say my name, what do I want them to think about? You know, what is it I really want them to be? You know, I want to be the executive coach. That is the thing. I want them to, when they think of CEO coaching and consulting, it's about how do I make sure that I'm working with executives? That is my brand. I always learn. And this is a huge thing right up front. Prioritize your work-life balance and your well-being. You can't take care of others until you take care of yourself. It's that concept when you're on an airplane, and for those of you who have kids or with your elderly parents or whomever it may be, and the flight attendant says, in case of emergency, put the mask on yourself. And we think it's counterintuitive. I want to put it on my children first. But why do we say put our masks on ourselves? You can't help others until you help yourself. And that's where it starts. I need to make sure that I'm helping myself and getting my life in order, emotionally, physically, spiritually, financially, getting your life in balance before you can help others. It is so key. And then here's the other thing that in our group, we started talking about this too, was ask for feedback, request it, go out to people and say, how am I doing here? What's going on? Give me feedback. And by the way, feedback is a gift. Some gifts are very easy to receive. Some gifts are very, very difficult to receive, but it's so important to get that feedback. Build your network, take those risks, and then measure it. Continue to measure. And those of you who are, in whether you're Agile Scrum, you're Scale Agile, whatever it may be, there's measurements. Why do you think we want to measure our growth? I'm curious. Why do we want to make sure we're measuring our growth? On ourselves, by the way. Why is that so important to measure?
If you can't measure it, you can't improve it, right?
That's exactly it. And I love that's exactly right. And it's that whole expression here. In God we trust, and everything else I need to validate. It's making sure we measure and validate and continue to progress it. Now, I'm going to go through these next. And by the way, if you want to go ahead and take a picture of this, please do. This is yours. Take a quick snapshot so that you have this. I think we covered a lot of these key concepts, but I want to make sure that you have this. And then your leader. So it takes, this is where the bulk of it is really about us. We need to own it. But it's also really important for your people leader, your manager, your people who are in your division, that they also play a key role in your career. You ultimately own it, but we need to make sure that our managers are there to help guide, support, and give you the resources. So I'm curious, can I have you put in the chat, what can your people leader do to help you own your career? And the other thing too is, if you have direct reports, what can you do to help your direct reports, your team, own their career? So I'm curious, what can your people leader do to help you own your career? You can put that in the chat. They focus on you. What do you mean by that, Nate?
That's not totally what I meant. Give me focus is what I'm looking for. We've got more good ideas than we can possibly implement, and it's easy to go off and do a bunch of little things and not make progress on the bigger themes, the longer term vision.
Yeah, thank you so much. No, and I think that's what Regina calls the big rocks that we focus on. What are the rocks that we want to make sure that these are the ones that are going to have the biggest impact? I love what you're saying. So focus. Excuse me. It sounds like Brandon was having some audio issues. No issue there. Okay. Praise and encouragement. Sure. Yes. Tell them they're doing a good job. David's saying train, invest in your teams, tap into their sense of purpose. Oh, nice. Tell us about that when you say the sense of purpose.
So on my teams, I like to know each individual and what's important to them. Are they family people? Are they adventure people? What are their hobbies? And how can I make it so that when they come to work, what they do during that 8 hours is part of their sense of purpose, right? I try to align that. And people have different motivations. Some people want to learn more. Some people want to have a career path where maybe they move into management and leadership, and what's important to them, I think. And if you can align that, then people just really enjoy working, and when they enjoy working, they do great work.
Nice. Love it. So that means that's communication. I need to tell you, if I'm reporting to you, David, I need to tell you what's important to me. So it's having that open, transparent communication that we have. Love it. And so Lori and Denzi, I'm going to build upon what you're saying here in a second. We're talking about career path and career growth. Love what you're saying. We're going to build upon that. Yeah. So here is the thing. This is what your leader can do. So here, and again, if I can have you go ahead and take a picture, take your camera out and take a picture of this. Because what they can do is just like you're saying, Nate was saying, and the rest of you, encourage that self-reflection, have that goal setting, have those ongoing balanced feedback, having career opportunities, giving them the stretch assignments, giving them the opportunity to grow and get out of their comfort zone. Your leaders can say, you need to own this, encourage that ownership, autonomy to grow. They can be that mentor. And then like Regina is always saying, advocate for somebody. Ask your leader to advocate for you. Facilitate those different cross-functional collaboration, that you're in the meetings and you can learn from the different departments. And if you say to your manager, you know what, it's important for me to have a work-life balance, make sure you're there to support them on that. And then celebrate. It is so important to celebrate when there are growths, when you have hit those milestones, you've achieved those goals. Celebrate, celebrate, celebrate. It's so key. Now, the next one here is, as we said, the third part is your organization. So you own it, your development, your leader is there to help play a role, and your organization plays a very key role in making sure that you're having that growth and being able to be the CEO of your career. So if I can have you put in the chat, what are things that your organization can do to help you own your career? What are things that your organization can do to help you own your career? We had your leader, and so this is where Denzi and Saba, you were talking about career path and career growth. Can I have you tell us a little bit more about that career path and career growth?
I'm sorry, is that question directed at me?
Who's that for?
Either one. So Denzi, I saw that. Denzi, let's go with you. You had
it's Denise. It's Denise. It's Denise.
Denise.
It's okay.
I'm sorry.
Yeah. It's okay. I've been called Denzel. It's fine. No, it's yeah. I mean, I think it's as clear as what it says. I want to know what my career looks like in 6 months, in a year, in 5 years, right? It's wonderful to constantly hear, oh, you're a rock star, you're doing so well, great. But it's like, okay, but like, what does that mean for my future, right? Can you please lay out a plan of what you have in plan for me and how you plan on supporting my career growth within this organization? I think it's super important.
Love it. And here's the thing is many organizations don't have that. And so that's where you're going to say, you know what, I'm going to partner with my HR team. I'm going to go to them and say, this is important for us. What does it look like for me to grow and develop? And what does that career path look like? And push it. And again, this is part of that agency also, being able to say, you know what, I own my career. I'm going to help drive this and I'm going to help move forward. It's okay to go to HR and say, what does the career path look like? What is it? Where do I go from here? How do I get this? Yeah, love it. Carol, love what you're saying here. Build a good work environment. Oh, tell us about that, please.
Yes. Also, I think my company does it. We have values, we have a vision, we work on that. I'm a cultural ambassador in my area because yes, and also I'm a mentor with a colleague, and also I am a mentee from a colleague I choose. So I think that are good benefits for our career. But it's very important not just to have the schedule, or you have to respect that time, the time for your life, the time for your work, because there are a lot of people that they know, but they put meetings outside the schedule or that kind of things. Yes.
Love it. Thank you so much, Carol. And so you hit the nail on the head. You're so on point. It's really about having that culture. The organization needs to have that culture of ongoing learning that, if I make a mistake, it's a growth opportunity. There is no such thing as a mistake. It's really about how do I learn from this? How do we make it safe? How do we continue to grow? Have those pathways. Have that mindset where everybody's going to be growing. Invest in mentorship programs. Have more, education reimbursement. Have those certification programs. Have internal job shadowing, rotations. Really look at those and make sure you're rewarding our employees to make sure they have that. And here's the thing, is that every organization is made up of people. One person can make that huge difference and really drive that change to create, whether it's a mentorship program, that ongoing learning, pushing HR to have those career paths in place, at making that happen. That's what the organization can do. Now, I really want you to think about this for a second. I am going to put myself out here. Attitudes are contagious. Is yours worth catching? All right. That we, having this mindset, I'm going to be the CEO. I'm going to own it. I'm going to be that positive. I'm going to drive the right amount of change. I'm going to make this happen. Okay. This is me. This is me, a very embarrassing photo. Yeah. This summer. I was I was up on the First Nations on the Indian Reserve. They had canoe races, and there was a 50 and over canoe race. Okay, if you can't really tell there, but I'm actually holding a trophy. I'm holding a trophy. So typically, when you win it, when you get a trophy, why do you get a trophy? By the way, why do you typically when we're in a race, and why do we get a trophy?
Acknowledgement, celebration.
Yeah. So typically, your first, second, or third acknowledgement. All right. So this was a race, a men's race, 50 and over, and I got last place. Okay, I got last place, and they handed me this trophy, and on the trophy it says "dead ass last," dead ass last, and they said you are the one person we knew who would embrace this trophy because this is something that we knew that you'd be able to take it for what it's worth, and that to me was the best encouragement. I got last place, and people celebrated, and I got my picture taken, and everyone wanted to have the picture with me and everything. And so that's what I say to you is embrace it. Even if you're in last place, lean into it and say, I've got it. I'm going to move forward. And next year, I'm not going to be in last. I'm going to beat somebody the next time. And that's the thing, is that in order for us to be the CEO of our career, we really need to make sure that we own it. We say, I am going to continue to move forward. Even if I'm in last place, I'm going to move forward. I'm going to take it. I'm going to own it. So I want you to think about this. So we looked at this three-part harmony, that there's you, your leader, and your organization. What's one thing you're going to do with this information? I would like you to put that in the chat. You've invested in yourself. You've invested in yourself coming to this on a Wednesday night. Some of you, this is late night. Some of you, this is early morning. And then, everybody else has families and everything else going on. You've invested in yourself tonight. What's one thing that you're going to do with this information? Whether it's you get a certification, you talking to your leader, you talking to your organization, what's one thing that you're going to do? Excellent. You're going to get a certification. Love it. Excellent. Add more tools. Thank you, Raquel. Excellent. Ask for feedback. Yes. Re-up my energy level. Excellent. Creating a read. Nice. Schedule one-on-ones. Take more leadership workshops. That's the thing. You own it. You are the CEO of your career, whether you realize this or not. Find a mentor. Be a mentor. Now, this is one thing that I want to make sure that I say to each one of you here, that because you were able to attend this tonight, I would like to offer every one of you a free 45-minute one-on-one session with me. Can everybody see my information?
Wow.
Yeah, so if you want to go ahead and take a picture of this or go to my website, but reach out to me and you are free. You have a free 45-minute workshop, and I'd love to work with each one of you to talk about your career, and we'll do a deep dive into this.
That is so amazing, Tim. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Tim. That's
Of course.
amazing.
Thank you. This is huge. Thank you.
Yeah.
I think you're gonna get a lot of calls, Tim. I mean,
my God.
What was that, Timothy Cormier at what? Timothy Cormier at what?
Here is my website. Oh, but I can share, sorry.
So, Tim, I hope you had dinner because I'm staying here for the 45 minutes. Just kidding.
Does
That's
anybody have
awesome.
any questions? Or well, you got his information there. Please reach out to him.
Yeah, I just put it in the chat. Yes, I did.
Yeah, we want to take a quick picture before we drop. We always do that for our social media. But does anybody have any questions for Tim? Anything specific for our last minute?
I wanna piggyback on feedback. This is CJ. Hey Tim. With receiving feedback, most people don't take it well. So you need to learn how to take constructive feedback.
DJ, I couldn't have said it better myself. And so like when I do a coaching session, that's one of the things, like I work with leaders many times. They say, look, I know I need to be able to embrace feedback, but I get sensitive and I get defensive. Can we work on that? And that's one thing, like in a coaching session, we look at techniques on how to embrace it. Because you're exactly right. If you want to grow in your career, you can't grow unless you get feedback. So you're spot on.
You also have to make sure that if you're the one giving the feedback, that you're doing it correctly.
That's another thing I work with too, is how to give feedback in a balanced way, in a very respectful way, because you're
right.
Because
that can
I
crush
could
somebody's
go on and on
uplifting.
that. Yes. Yeah. And we don't want to pile on. We don't want to do any of that. Exactly.
So, Tim, what was like your background before you actually got into like leadership training, goal setting, be your own? What was the
So
journey like to get you to where you are today? I think what you're doing is amazing.
Thank you so much. So it's in my DNA. Even if I wanted to do something different, this is who I am. So when I graduated from college, in college I studied political science and religious studies. The two things that you don't want to talk to people: politics and religion. Okay, and so that's what I studied. Yeah, and I was actually thinking of becoming a minister, and I still might someday. I want to continue to grow, and so yeah, so that's my one side, okay. But I've always been, as I said, a coach. So I was in a Catholic school system, and I was the third and fourth grade teacher, and I was the volleyball, basketball, and track and field coach for the boys and girls. Did that for 5 years. So I worked with kids, and then I moved into corporate training. So it's interesting. I went from working with kids to working with adults in the corporate training.
Big kids.
And yeah, with big kids, we're same thing. Many times I feel like we never really outgrew seventh grade. The same type of things that happen, and so that's what happened. I just went into working in corporate training and started doing things like time management courses. I was actually part of the mathematical lab, so I did electronics, physics, chemistry. I did that. Moved into as I said, time management, writing skills, how to write effective emails, doing that. And it just sort of progressed going along the way. And then I ended up working with executives. When my last job at a major telecom company, I was executive coach for the head of strategy for the entire organization. I was the executive coach with him. And that was an amazing, we'll talk at some point. And that was an amazing experience. And I thought, if I can do that with him, I can do this anywhere. And so I've always said, be the CEO of your career. And I realized, you know what, I'm going to go ahead and do this and I went out on my own. Thank you.
Tim, I didn't know all that stuff. So how about you?
Oh, I could go on. Yeah.
This is new to me too.
It's so funny because my brother was in the seminary, he was studying to be a priest, and then he switched gears and became a special agent for the Department of Treasury.
There's a lot to that. I mean, it really is about how to read people and how to communicate, how to goal set, how to work together, and just see what's important with people. And I like how David has one of the things he says again and again is understand somebody's purpose. And I think is huge, is being able to do that. Yeah, and then along the way, I invested in myself. Went to grad school, worked on my master's on adult education. So I had the child side, but then I went into adult education and leadership development.
Great.
All right, guys, let's take a picture if you guys don't mind before we leave. I know a couple of folks dropped, but if we can turn on our cameras and let's come up with a very special sign to kind of share with Tim how grateful we are for all the amazing we learned from him. All right, so I'm gonna do this. Oh, look, Sava's got some props. I love it. I love it. And then Ali, you're gonna help us with the picture. And Ali's got her beautiful glasses. I love your glasses, Ali. They're beautiful.
Me too.
Yes. Hey, David. I love it. CJ. Welcome, welcome. All right, guys, if you can, Ali, give us the heads up.
Yeah.
Got it. Everybody's smiling.
Okay.
Thank you.
This was so timely, Tim. Thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it. In fact, I have another meeting, but I actually asked that meeting to be postponed so I can attend this one. And you did not disappoint. Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you so much. No, thank you, everybody. Just thank you, Regina and your team.
Yes,
You
Regina.
keep doing what you're doing. You guys are rock stars. You're making a
We're
huge
back.
impact. And thank you, everybody.
Thank you, guys. So remember, please continue to watch the meetup. So we're bringing our conference speakers back, but also some other amazing speakers. So watch out for the upcoming Wednesdays. And Addie's going to put the link on the chat. Follow us on Transformation Experts on LinkedIn. And we're going to have this picture. Like it, share it, post it, tag Tim, tag everybody. And we hope to see you guys again, okay?
And we're having an AI revolution.
Yes.
Thank you.
Look, she's
Love
got the
it.
background. And that's July 11th. So if you guys can sign up for that and also look at the Scrum Master powered by AI training that we've got coming up in April. If anybody's interested, it's all in the chat before you guys drop from Zoom.
Yeah, save the chat. Yeah.
Yes.
Thank
yes,
you.
yes.
Okay.
Thanks,
Good luck,
Tim.
Tim. Thanks
Take
for
care,
doing
everyone.
everybody. Bye bye.
Awesome.